Dead or alive, you're coming with me.
Wendy, I'm home.
I'm a vampire! I'm a vampire! I'm a vampire! I'm a vampire! I'm a vampire!
Go to hell and take your friends with you!
Carbon Day! Huh? No!
Get off my plane.
Remember selling the promise to kill you last?
That's what made you did!
I lied.
Hello everybody and welcome to Movies to Drink To. My name is Finn Hamilton.
I am Mr. Batman.
There he is. For those of you fortunate enough to be watching this as opposed to listening to it, this is our Halloween episode and we are in our finest Halloween gear.
I could find at the bottom of my wardrobe.
Batman from Wish.com and a furry.
I'm not the Batman anyone needs. I'm just the one you get.
And I'm a little black kitty cat. Because if it ain't sexy, it ain't Halloween.
No.
Meow. I was supposed to be a bat, but I didn't have a bat costume. And so, all right, I'll go with a cat. Really hard to find a cat costume for a male.
Sexism. That's the age we live in.
That is, yeah. Fucking misandry everywhere. Anyway, today's episode is on Halloween. The 2007 version by Rob Zombie.
Yeah.
Not any of the good ones.
No.
No. I mean, to be fair, a lot of them are shit, especially Halloween Ends.
Yes.
As we've just talked
discussed
about
in the news episode.
Yes, on the news episode over on YouTube. Before we go on, do not forget to subscribe to this. Like it, share it. You can review it on Apple, iTunes if you're listening. All that stuff. All that bullshit. You know what to do. So, Halloween from 2007, written and directed by Rob Zombie. From the acclaimed pen of Robert Zombie comes a movie nobody fucking asked for. Halloween.
Is that his real name, Robert Zombie?
I don't know what his fucking
Is that just
real name
the accent you're putting on?
That's just the silly voice I'm putting on. Couldn't care what his real name is. It stars Scout Taylor Compton, Malcolm McDowell, Tyler Main, Brad Dourif, Daig Feich. Stupid fucking name, I don't know. Sherry Moon Zombie, of course. Now we're just going into who's who of Rob Zombie alumni. William Forsythe, Richard Lynch, Udo Kier, Clint Howard, Danny Trejo, Bill Moseley, Leslie Eastbrook, Danielle Harris, who was the child in Halloween 4 and 5.
Yes.
Skylar Gizindo, Dee Wallace, Daryl Sabra. He is Daryl Sabra. He is the kid from Spy Kids.
All right.
Ken Forey, Mickey Dolans of the Monkees, Daniel Rosebuck, and Sid Haig. The plot of this...
Oh, shit.
Knew you weren't ready. The plot of this... beeth one job. One job he's got.
After being committed for 15 years, Michael Myers, now a grown man and still very dangerous, escapes from the mental institution and immediately returns to Haddonfield to find his baby sister, Laurie.
Cool. We start with some reading we've got to do.
Mm-hmm.
The darkest... Oh, I've written it down. Wrong.
Oh, I got it.
You do it then.
It says, the darkest souls are not those which choose to exist within the hell of the abyss, but those which choose to break free from the abyss and move silently among us. That's apparently from Dr. Samuel Loomis.
Who's not a real person.
Who's not a real person.
No.
Also, reading that back, it's horribly written.
Yes. Also, I have my typo is the darkest solids.
The darkest solids are not those which choose to exist.
Oh dear. So we start. Haddonfield, October 31st. Haddonfield, Illinois. Obviously, it's the same setting.
Yeah.
And we meet Rat Boy.
Yeah, God of Thunder by Kiss plays in the background.
Of course. Rat Boy, this is young Michael Myers, who's got himself a little clown mask, a little pet rat. And then we meet the rest of the family. Oof.
Yeah, everybody, the minute you meet this family, you're just like, yeah, everyone they just deserve to die. Like, immediately. It's just literally the bile that everybody spews is just fucking horrendous.
Every one of them is, bitch, I'll crawl over there and I will skull fuck the shit out of you. They're arguing. It's
The
absolute
worst family
white
like ever in
trash.
existence.
Yeah, Sherry Moon Zombie is the mum.
Yep.
William Forsythe is the deadbeat drunk dad,
Boyfriend.
whatever he is.
Step.
Don't know. And they're just screaming and arguing with one another. Fuck you, you fucking fuck. Fuck this. Fuck,
Yeah.
fuckity, fuck.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. This is Rob Zombie's like idea of
Like I said, written by Rob
family
Zombie.
unit.
Yeah. Absolute. Just, ugh. And all really badly acted.
Oh yeah, it's awful.
And then, yeah, so the dad is there swearing. The daughter walks in. This is Judith Myers.
Yeah.
And man, that bitch got herself a nice little dumper.
Oh yeah, he starts
Perving on his own daughter. No, his stepdaughter.
It's his stepdaughter.
Yeah.
And and she almost plays up to it
Yeah.
to a degree. Like it's just a horrendous watch. This whole scene.
She's
And
instructed
it goes on forever.
She's instructed to go get Michael, who is upstairs cleaning a knife in the sink. And
Yeah.
she's like, Michael, come on. And he's like, I'm not listening. And then screams.
Yeah.
He runs around like a little bitch. And the dad calls him little bitch and refers to him as Michelle.
Yeah.
Yeah, awful opening to an awful film. Over at school, there's some bullies, some bigger boys in the toilets.
Yeah, they start taking the piss out of Michael.
Yes.
Because his mum's a stripper.
Yes, and one of them has a paper clipping,
Yeah.
a cut-out sort of mini poster
Like a
of
little
his,
flyer or something.
yes, of his mum as a stripper. They fight, and then a guy in a mask.
Yeah.
This guy looks like he's wearing prosthetics.
Oh,
The
yeah,
principal.
the principal. Yeah,
Yeah.
it does.
What is going on here?
Oh God, who is he? He's I can't remember. But yeah, it doesn't. Yeah, it looks like heavy makeup.
Yeah.
For no reason.
I don't understand at all what's going on there. So this guy in a mask, it's Halloween, who knows? He breaks up the fight, and then Michael says, "Fuck you" to the principal
Yeah.
for some reason. He's just saved your ass.
Yeah, because he's
from
a
whooping.
troubled child.
He needs a Seth Green treatment.
Just put him in the bin.
Put him in the bin.
End of film.
Yes. Yeah, Michael keeps saying "fuck you" to the principal who just saved him, which makes no fucking sense.
Yeah.
He hates him. Whatever.
Malcolm McDowell turns up.
Yeah, well, Sherry Moon is called into the
Yeah.
school, and then Malcolm McDowell arrives in a wig.
Basically looking like a Rob Zombie version of Dr. Loomis. Like he's got weird long hair. Like he looks like he just came out of like House of a Thousand Corpses.
And he's got the
But he's like
sunglasses
a
on.
psychiatrist.
He's like some hippie doctor.
Yeah.
Man.
It's fucking weird.
Even though this is only, I guess, the 90s, early 90s, this is taking place.
Well, there's a point in this film which totally threw me because, I mean, looking at this film and the way it's going, I was like, is this set in the 70s or 80s? Could not tell. And then there's a bit later on in the film where I'm like, oh, 90s.
Yeah. So the principal has Sherry Moon, the mother, in the office, and Malcolm McDowell, the doctor, he's come in. They present her with a dead cat.
They found in Michael's bag.
Yes.
And she's like, well, it's his lunch.
And she's like, that's no big deal.
Yeah. We
She-
can't afford sandwiches.
Yeah. We're poor as shit. I'm a stripper. We eat cats.
Yeah.
Leave us alone. Stop hating on our white trash lifestyle. But she kind of like fobs off like, oh, he probably just found it. What, found it and put it in a bag and carried it around
Yeah, I know.
school?
She's like almost like, don't all children find dead animals, put them in their bag and take them to school? Come on.
Yeah, all children that go on to murder people.
Yeah.
And he's also got loads of pictures of dead animals. And Sherry Moon sees
Polaroids.
these, yes, and does some terrible acting like, oh, God, these are bad. Oh, these are bad. That's horrible. Oh, Michael wouldn't, what's my line? Do that. And so they want to evaluate Michael, as you would.
Well, yeah. I mean, and any parent realistically would be like, yes, you probably should.
But Michael runs away.
Yeah, he legs it.
Yes. He runs off to the woods.
Well, he follows his bully, doesn't he?
Yes, and he attacks his bully on his walk home with a big stick.
Yep.
And he takes back the clipping of his mum
Yeah.
to probably have a wank over later.
Yeah, he literally beats the shit out of this kid. Like, well, staves his skull in with
Yeah.
that big old branch.
And then beats him to death, yeah.
Not that it matters, because nobody mentions this ever again.
No.
No, it's like, nobody misses that kid, apparently.
Well, he's a piece of shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, Rob Zombie likes to do this. He likes he likes to present killers as being sympathetic characters.
Yeah.
So he's killed the bully. Right. Later that night, they're watching The Thing from Another World.
Mm-hmm.
His dad or stepdad, Not sure. He's being a piece of shit, as per usual.
Yep.
And Judith has to take Michael trick-or-treating.
But she doesn't want it.
She doesn't. Because she wants to bang her metalhead boyfriend.
Yeah, he turns up instead. They literally, it's such a weird, like, the way the scene works out as well. Because you're like, she's like, oh yeah, okay, I'll take him. Then her boyfriend walks in. She goes, well, I was never really going to. And then she goes upstairs. So it's like, I was as confused as Michael. I thought we were going.
Yeah, you definitely said we were going.
Yeah, like literally not even a second ago.
Yeah. Nope, she's going to have sex. That's fair enough. So Michael has to go alone. And Michael sits out on the street on the front
veranda?
of his house.
The stoop.
Yeah. What is
Porch.
it? No, he's like sat out on the sidewalk, the curb.
Was he? I thought he was on the steps of the house.
He sat outside his house. Michael is sat outside his house.
Wildly unimportant.
Yeah. All by his lonesome. Intercut this with scenes of his mum stripping to Nazareth's version of Love Hurts. It's
a classy scene.
It's weird as hell. It's like Rob Zombie directing his wife's strip. It's Love Hurts. Intercut with shots of a little fat boy.
You can just hear Rob Zombie in the background going, ugh. Go on, Sherry.
Go on, Sherry. Get your chest out. And then just to the boy, look sad. Think about how you're not banging my wife, and I am. Because I'm Rob Zombie.
Love hurts.
Such a weird, disjointed fucking scene. Judith is upstairs anyway, getting horny with her boyfriend, who's brought along the Halloween mask.
Yeah.
The William Shatner, spray-painted white, Michael Myers
Inside out
mask.
Michael Myers mask, yeah.
Yep. He's brought it along with him, and he wants to bang with the mask on.
Yeah. I mean, there's no context for it as well. They don't even say, oh, is that a William Shatner mask? No. It's just like, this is the mask I brought for no reason.
Yeah. This very iconic mask that I own, of course.
I found it in a Michael Myers mask. I bought down the road. How weird that that's your brother's name.
Yeah. Michael, he comes home and he looks sad and he sits in the kitchen and he plays with some bits of candy corn and then he just gets up and decides to kill his dad.
Yeah.
So,
I mean,
the scene's terrible. He's literally sat there like, oh, I'm so bored.
Yeah, flicking candy off.
Yeah, and then just, all right, gets up.
Time to get to work.
Yeah, grabs a knife. So he duct tapes his dad to the armchair who's passed out drunk and he slits his throat.
Manages to duct tape him entirely to the chair without waking him up.
He is drunk as shit.
No, I guess.
Yeah. The boyfriend, after they've banged, he then heads downstairs to make a sandwich, which I think's a bit rude. These people are poor, and he's just helping himself to their
cats,
fridge.
for fuck's sake.
Cat sandwich. Just slicing off bits of
Just
gerbil.
opens the fridge, there's like possum in there.
He's head downstairs, make himself a sandwich, and Michael beats him to death with a baseball bat.
Yep. Yeah, and beats it, smashes his skull in. I mean, this kid's obviously quite, I suppose he's got the element of surprise on his side.
And it's a metal baseball bat.
Yeah. All right, I'll allow it.
He then sneaks into Judith's room, who's lying in her bed, listening to Don't Fear the Reaper, of course.
Yeah.
Obviousness is obvious. And Michael picks up and he puts on the Halloween mask.
Yeah.
The Halloween mask.
Lucky it was there, really.
Yeah, which looks ridiculous on him. He looks like because it's massive and he's a child.
Yeah.
He looks like a fucking bobblehead. Like a Michael Myers bobblehead.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure there's a video doing around somewhere of a small child with a Michael Myers mask on. That's exactly this.
Yeah, those, yeah. And he starts feeling up his sister.
Yeah, like runs his hand up her.
Yeah.
Like, mate.
So she's pissed off, obviously. So he stabs her in the stomach. But she doesn't die.
No.
And she starts walking away down the corridor, chased by the bobblehead Michael Myers. And he stabs her some more and she dies. But it just looks terrible. Sorry. But, sorry, he snuck off on me in a Batman mask, for those that can't see. Yeah, he looks ridiculous. He looks stupider than you. It's just this massive head.
Yeah.
Following like, ooh, scary?
Yeah, you would fucking just be killing yourself laughing. And then he'd manage to get up to you and like slip the knife in and be like, oh, yeah, you bugger.
Oh, you cheeky little git. Mum arrives home. She's dropped off by Michael Rosebuck in his one scene.
Yeah.
To find Michael sat outside the house with the baby. Oh, we didn't mention there's a baby as well that they've got.
Oh, yeah, which is important.
Kind of.
because it's Laurie.
Yeah, it is, yeah. It's Laurie, yeah. And he sat out, he doesn't kill the baby. He sat outside the front of the house with the baby. Cut to, the police show up and Sherry Moon overacts.
Yeah, wildly.
But yep, shouting, screaming. When they wheel out Judith Meyer's dead body, she's obviously covered in a sheet.
Yeah.
And she runs up screaming and pulls it off and screams even more when she sees her dead daughter.
Yeah. Like, surprise.
What did you expect? It's a corpse.
There's a journalist like outside who's turned up at the scene. They haven't even like Michael's in the car or something. I think like the mum's like Sherry Moon Zombie's like they're wheeling the bodies out. Sherry Moon Zombie's overacting. There's already a journalist who somehow knows the entire story of what just happened.
Yeah, because we then go to 11 months later, and the journalist at the scene, his like report overlaps into the future.
Yeah, the future.
Yeah, the time cut.
Yeah.
So it doesn't make sense.
Yeah, not at all. Especially as this is all still going on. There's no fucking way the journalist has got all of the background of what happened.
Yes. There
I mean,
at
that's
the scene
some fast fucking
that
work.
night.
Yeah.
So Smith's Grove Mental Institution, 11 months later, Michael has been found guilty.
Yep.
He's in the interview room. There's loads of scenes like this. Yeah. Yeah, Dr. Loomis and Michael Myers as a child having these interviews. It's kind of like Silent Night, Deadly Night 2.
Yep.
Yeah, that kind of... But
Yeah.
not as bad.
Not as
I'll
bad.
give Zombie some credit, but it's still just that kind of shit. Michael claims he didn't kill anyone.
No, yeah. Apparently he's blocked it all out.
Wow.
Like, mentally blocked it.
Remember that.
Mm.
He's blocked it all out.
Yeah.
His mum comes to visit. Danny Trejo is working there as a janitor.
Yeah, he's like an orderly.
Yeah, he's also... Well, he's mopping the floor. I assume he's just a janitor.
Wait, he's not because he's allowed to. I think it's the same thing.
Well, that's what I didn't get. He's a janitor, but later on, janitors also escort prisoners.
Yeah,
places.
he's an orderly. Like, so part of his job is cleaning and stuff as well, and like all of that sort of nonsense. But yeah, he's also there to, I don't know, move prisoners around or whatever.
Man of all trades. Danny Trejo works there basically, and he has terrible lines to Michael. It's like, "Hey there, buddy, don't let these walls get to you, huh? You gotta live inside your mind.
Yeah, just go into your brain.
Yeah.
Like just live in your mind.
Live in your mind, amigo. And there's no walls in there. You can do whatever you want, man."
Yeah,
Terrible advice.
absolutely awful. In a hospital.
Yeah,
Like, for mentally
very troubled
unstable
child.
people.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just regress into your own brain. It'll be fine.
Michael has made a mask as well at one point, which is just covered. It's just black felt tip, and Dr. Loomis actually is him.
Yeah, that's exactly what I wrote down. So he's like, "Why is the mask black? Because it's my favourite colour." And he's like, "Well, actually, black isn't a colour."
It's a shade.
I was like, "Oh,
Michael becomes obsessed with masks. This is over the course of like I think like it's given the idea that it's over the course of many years, but you find out it's over the course of like a year.
yeah,
Michael becomes obsessed with masks. He stops speaking, and then Michael has a full breakdown at Christmas.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, Dr. Loomis is a terrible psychiatrist.
yeah." It's just making things worse,
He really is.
like constantly. And these constant visits from Sherry Moon Zombie are not helping either. I don't think.
No, because she's a terrible mother.
Yeah, also a really bad actress.
Yes. Then Michael, at one point, he is left alone in the room with a nurse, who's
Yeah, which seems unwise straight away.
also she's a bitch.
Yeah.
Because remember, gotta have a sympathetic killer.
Yes.
Yes. So she makes some comment like, because there's a picture handed to him of him and the baby, Laurie Myers, and she's like, "Oh, that's a cute baby. Can't be related to you."
Yeah.
Like, who would actually say that?
To a child. I mean,
Rob Zombie.
even a mentally unstable child. Yeah, anybody that existed within the Rob Zombie verse would say something like that.
So Michael stabs her in the fucking neck with a fork,
Yeah,
kills her.
good. I guess.
Well, I say because he loves to make his killers sympathetic characters. So he's killed again, and at this point, Michael's mum, Sherry Moon Zombie, she goes home all sad, and she commits suicide.
Yeah, she watches home videos and cries and then shoots herself in the
Super 8
head.
videos of her baby boy son,
Right.
who's now a murderer, and she kills herself.
Now, it's at this point in the film, I really should say, none of this that has happened so far is necessary.
No.
It's all wildly unnecessary backstory that Michael Myers doesn't need.
No.
It doesn't need this setting up the character. You don't need him to be sympathetic. My theory is when Rob Zombie first started writing this movie, he was like, obviously, like, fucking, well, Sherry's got to be in it. She's too old to play Laurie, like, and can't play like Laurie's adopted mum, I don't think, because that needs somebody even older than Sherry. So I'm going to rewrite the entire film. I'm going to add because she's going to be Michael Myers' mum. That's the ideal character for Sherry. I'll just invent this whole fucking nonsense
Just so I can
put my fucking wife in this film.
Quite possibly.
Yeah.
15 years later, Danny Trejo is with a new janitor.
Who's somebody else working with him.
Yeah, he's just started. This new guy, he's a fucking prick. They walk in. Remember, Danny Trejo is very nice and sympathetic and kind to Michael.
Yeah.
And they walk in, and the other guy's like, "Let's go, fucknut!" Fucking cracked me up.
He starts like handling his masks and stuff.
Yeah.
And Danny's like, "Don't touch his masks,
Yeah.
you bellend."
So Danny is retiring, and this guy is taking over. Uh-oh. Danny Trejo's in love with Michael.
It's clearly.
He calls him Mikey. Hey, Mikey.
Hey, Mikey.
Sorry I have to put these chains on you, Mikey.
Oh, yeah, and Michael Myers is now Tyler Mane, by the way. He's like 11 foot tall.
Yeah. So whilst being in this one room this
Yeah.
entire time,
He is beefed up.
yes, he's not doing weights.
Nope.
There's no gym he can go to, but he has grown to the size of a fucking professional wrestler like Undertaker or the Kane in their
Like
prime.
Sabretooth from the first X-Men film.
But it is him.
Yeah, it's the same guy. Yeah.
He's fucking ginormous. The new guy, we said he is the worst. Also, yeah, why is Michael at the same facility? He's 25 now.
Yeah.
He's not a child.
Yeah, it does seem unusual that they'd house the same people.
Yeah.
Like,
Children and
there's
adults.
an adult wing and a children's wing, maybe?
But he's in the same room.
Oh, God, yeah.
Yeah, so he's
Well,
been...
maybe they're just like, all this time, it's like, he's fucking nuts, mate. I'm not moving in. But then randomly they just do it.
But they've got women in there as well. They've got men, women, and children all in one facility.
Awful. This is a terribly run state hospital.
Dr. Loomis
I
is...
blame the government.
Yeah, underfunded. Dr. Loomis is still having his little chats with him. Michael hasn't said a word in 15 years, which
No,
Dr.
so these chats seem fucking useless, really. Fucking Loomis is still there for 15 years. He's not said a fucking word. I'd be bored.
Dr. Loomis is now using Michael as a psychiatrist.
Yeah.
Because he can say whatever he wants to Michael, and he won't say anything.
Michael just sits there silently, listens.
Yeah.
You're a great listener, Michael.
Yeah.
Have I said that?
But yeah, like I said, he hasn't said anything. He hasn't said a word in 15 years, which Dr. Loomis describes as a lifetime.
Yeah.
It's not. It's 15 years. And then Dr. Loomis basically breaks up with him.
Yeah, he just dumps him.
Yeah, he's like, I've got to go. This isn't work. This isn't working.
Yeah.
It's
I
not you,
feel like
it's
I'm
me.
giving and you're taking.
Yeah.
There's no back and forth.
I failed you.
Yeah. It's not you.
Yeah.
No, it is you. Like, it's not me. I'm a professional psychiatrist. You couldn't ask for better.
And then we get a shot of later on at some other place. Dr. Loomis has written a book all about it, and he's giving a speech trying to terrify people.
Yeah.
Yes. Back at the prison, the piece of shit janitor and his friend, who's his cousin that also works there and is also a piece of shit,
Yeah.
they molest a female inmate. And they decided to chuck her in the cell with Michael.
Oh, my version did not have this scene.
No?
No. I
Oh.
don't remember this scene at all.
What did you watch it on?
Amazon, I think.
Oh, maybe I saw the extended version.
Must have done.
Okay, well, here's what
Go
I
on.
had.
Yeah, go on.
So the piece of shit janitor from earlier,
Yep.
his cousin also works there, and he gets him to come over on the graveyard shift, so they can molest a female inmate.
Right.
They chuck her into Michael's cell. They then rape her on Michael's bed.
Was with Michael in there?
Yep.
Seems unwise.
You see all this?
Right.
And they're hollering and screaming like Rob Zombie characters.
Right.
It's fucking awful, like absolutely horrible. It's just fucking tasteless and shit. And they're doing this whilst Michael's in the room, and he's just sat there. It's only when they fuck with his masks that Michael gets upset and he kills them, or he kills one of them. He kills the main piece of shit.
Right.
Don't know whatever happens to the woman. Don't know what happens to the other guard, because it then cuts to Danny Trejo arriving for work.
Yeah, see, this bit I've got.
Yeah, Danny Trejo arrives for work and there's nobody about, and he discovers bodies everywhere. And he runs into Mikey. Is that you, Mikey? And he decides, he's like, okay, Mikey, we got to get you back to your cell.
Yeah.
So I got to put these handcuffs on you. But Mikey doesn't want that.
What happens to... Have you not got the bit with the guards where they move him?
Nope.
Oh right, see that they must have. I've seen a different version to you then, because in mine you got the book reading, and then you've got a bunch of guards basically talking about how they've got to move Michael Myers for some reason, and even they're like, but why? Like, and why on Halloween? And they're like, well, I don't know, like
Nope.
what, day before Halloween. So then the guards start moving them through, and Michael's wearing like a variation of what looks like the pumpkin mask from Halloween 3.
He's got that on in the scene, like the version I've
Okay,
got.
so he's wearing that, and then as they're transporting him, Michael just fucking kills them all, like just smashes them all to pieces.
Oh no, I've got a totally different version. Have
How
you got?
weird?
In your version, did you see Danny Trejo's death?
Danny Trejo, yeah, because basically he kills the guards that are trying to move him, and then Danny Trejo arrives for work, and no one's about because he's killed everyone.
Ah, so you know, I have the rape scene, and then Danny Trejo arrives,
Yeah,
and he kills Danny Trejo. All the while, Danny Trejo's going, "I was good to you, Mikey.
yeah.
I was good to you." It's just, I don't. Yeah, this character, he's trying to make a sympathetic killer, and then he just decides, he's just gonna kill the only person that's been nice to him for the last 15 years.
Yeah. He like tries to drown him.
Yeah, and then he
And
drops
then
the TV
smashes
on.
the TV over his
Yeah,
head.
because Rob Zombie can't write characters.
Yeah. Rob Zombie can't write people in general. Like, fucking, he has no idea. I don't know what fucking upbringing this guy had, but fuck that.
Then Clint Howard then phones Dr. Loomis to tell him the shit news.
Yeah.
Michael heads over to a truck stop
And
With-
Ken Forey
Yep.
turns up
with
gets out of the
Rush.
truck.
Rush is playing.
Yeah.
Yep. He's a truck driver. Michael has made his way there to the truck stop somehow, and he kills Ken Forey in the toilet.
Yeah, Ken Forey's gone to the toilet to read porn.
Yes, and
Um,
take a massive shit because he's eating a deluxe supreme taco, baby, and I'm gonna be here a while as I
Michael
drop the
Myers
biggest
first
dump in the history of mankind.
He like knocks on the door quite politely.
Yeah.
And Ken Forey's like says all that.
Yep.
And then he's like just knocks on the door again. And Ken Forey's like, fuck man.
I'm dumping a log.
Yeah.
I'm not moving.
So
I got it half hanging out my ass.
Yeah, then he like squeezes his butt cheeks, I guess, and like breaks it off halfway through, gets up and he pulls a knife out, and Michael like gets the upper hand, gets the knife off him, and then this is apparently, and he steals his overalls. So Ken Forey was wearing fucking Michael Myers' iconic overalls this whole time.
Except he wasn't.
Was he not?
He's not wearing that at all.
But that's what happens.
I know, but Ken Forey isn't wearing those fucking overalls.
Yeah. I
In
did
the-
not notice that before.
No, I swear to God, he's wearing he's got like a vest, kind of like a, what do you call it, like a Marty McFly kind of big vest thing.
All right.
But he's not wearing a pair of fucking overalls.
Well, that's where Michael
then-
gets them from.
But then later, Michael is, well, maybe he just got them from the
You see
truck.
him like doing it up as he walks out of the.
Fuck knows. At this point, by the way, we're basically just copying this is the original film.
Yeah, to a degree.
From now on, it's
From
just
now on it is,
the
yeah.
remake. It's literally just a remake of the original. Plot's exactly the fucking same. So yeah, Michael has killed Ken Forey and got a pair of overalls from somewhere. Over in the suburbs, we have Laurie and her mum and dad. Mum is Dee Wallace,
Dee Wallace, the mum from E.T.
the mum from E.T. and from The Howling.
Yes.
And yeah, so it's just the original movie basically.
Yeah, we've got to pretty much maybe over halfway through the film. We finally met Laurie.
This is like 45 minutes in.
Yeah.
Yeah. Michael has found his way to the basement of his old house. This is 100 miles away, by the way.
Yeah.
They state Haddonfield is 100 miles from the facility.
So yeah, Michael Myers has Forrest Gumped his way
Yeah,
all the way there.
and it is specifically, in this version, Michael cannot drive.
Right.
Because in the original, that's how he gets there. He
Oh,
drives.
is it? He drives.
In the 78 one, he drives, doesn't
I've
he?
forgotten about that.
Yeah. And they do say, like, who the fuck taught me how to drive?
Oh yeah. Now I remember.
Yeah, whereas Rob Zombie made a point in this film, there's a documentary of the making of this film somewhere, and Rob Zombie states, like angrily almost says, Michael Myers doesn't fucking drive.
Well, not if he's grown up in a fucking mental institution
No,
since he was
that
like
makes
10 or
sense.
whatever, yeah.
He doesn't drive. How he gets 100 miles, that doesn't make sense.
Oh, well done, Rob. You got something right, but
Also
then
got it-
failed again immediately
You
after.
also got it wrong. Even when you're right, you're wrong. So yeah, he's found his way to his old house, and he's got into the basement, and he's dug up his old knife and the mask.
Oh yeah, like which he stashed at some point.
Yeah. I
With all
guess.
that shit going, oh, fuck so. Yeah, I know, yeah. So he's in his old gaff, which is fucked. I mean, it's
It's
a mess.
completely abandoned.
Yeah.
All the windows are boarded up and everything.
Condemned as fuck.
And whilst he's in there getting his mask and his knife, Laurie stops by the house to post something through the letterbox.
Which makes no sense.
To who? No one fucking lives
That's
there.
it. She leaves her house, and her dad's like, "Oh, have you got those things, like the really important shit that I need you to post?"
Yeah.
And she's like, "Yeah, of course." And he gives her this like manila envelope or whatever. Yeah, and then she posts it through the letterbox of the one fucking house in the whole of Haddonfield
It's
that
completely
nobody's lived in for fucking 15
yeah.
years.
It's completely abandoned, boarded up. No one lives there. Make sure you post this. Why no one lives there?
Yeah. And as it comes through, Michael grabs it and goes, "Well, yeah, you know, it doesn't."
Oh, yeah, completely stupid. Later, Laurie is at school with Danielle Harris. She's her friend. She's got another friend there whose name I've forgotten. And she sees Michael stood out on the street corner across the road, just looking at her, kind of like in the original.
And she sees Michael across the road staring at her. Doesn't say anything.
No.
Just carries on her conversation as normal. Doesn't go, "What the fuck? There's a guy in a mask and overalls there." So
There's a
like,
6'7" man
Yeah.
across the street looking at me.
and not any, like as they continue the conversation, she looks at him 3 or 4 times maybe, and he's still there constantly. Not once does she go, "Anybody else?" She just ignores it, and then when he disappears, she's like,
Back at the prison, Dr. Loomis is blaming anyone but himself for what's happened.
Well, he's talking to like,
Udo
Ron
Kier.
Howard's weird fucking brother and the butler from Barbed Wire.
Yeah, so he's blaming Udo Kier and Clint Howard for everything. And then Loomis reveals he knows exactly where he's going, somehow. Because Michael, remember, hasn't spoken for 15 years.
This fucking killed me. Like, I had to write it down. He tells them to tell the police where Michael's going, but chooses not to specify. He goes, "Just tell them where he's going." And they're like, "We don't know where he's going." And he goes, "Well, it must be nice living in denial. I must try it sometime. You and those shirt tuckers up there know damn well where he's going. Just make sure no one gets it wrong. Just fucking say this. Why haven't you said where he's going? Like, because they're clearly confused. Like, rather than go through all these theatrics, just go, he's going to Laurie's house.
Yeah. He's going to Haddonfield.
Because then he just storms and like leaves it. So there's 2 clearly confused blokes. Like, where is he going?
And why do you know he's going there? Like I said, he hasn't spoken for 15 years. He's giving you no indication at all. Like, "Hey, I know I don't speak, but if I ever get out of here, I'm going back to my old house."
Yeah, going straight to Laurie. Gonna kill her.
Yeah.
And anybody like around her.
Yeah.
But those damn shirt tuckers.
Yeah. They hid all the information that he didn't give. It's so stupid.
It's horrendously written.
Back over at school, Laurie's friend swears a lot. It's
All right, yeah.
another terrible scene where she's just like, "I told the gym teacher to go fuck her own face because she's a fucking bitch. Fuck that
This is
fucking
another
bitch.
reason I thought this
Fuckity
was
fuck,
set in the
fuck, fuck."
70s or 80s and stuff. It's like, 'cause nobody has spoken like that for decades.
I mean, we swear a lot.
Yeah, but no, it's just the pattern of speech and everything else. Like,
Yeah.
is this supposed to be 70s?
Her friends are awful.
Yeah, they're pretty annoying.
And Danielle Harris joins the two of them, and they're walking up home, and Michael is watching them.
Laurie finally mentions him. Said,
when
"Oh,
he's right there in front of them.
Have you seen this guy? Like, I saw him earlier. Like, oh, did you? You didn't mention it like, at all? Because I would have mentioned that. Because he's terrified. And then they're like, they get fucking... They're like well annoying. They start doing all this. "You want some of the young stuff? Come and get it. My dad's the sheriff." Basically, they're so annoying that Michael leaves.
Yeah. They start giving him shit, and he's like, fuck this I'm off."
noise.
Then Brad Dourif shows up. Sheriff Brad Dourif.
Chucky.
Yes. He is also Danielle Harris's dad in this film.
Apparently so.
Yes, and he gives her a lift home. Dr. Loomis then shows up at a cemetery to take a look at Sherry Moon's grave.
With Captain Spaulding.
Yes. Sid, hey, why, though?
What, just to look at the grave?
Yeah.
Yeah, it makes no sense. It's just an excuse to get fucking...
Sid Hagen.
Sid
apparently.
Hagen it. Also, but this scene does contain possibly my favourite line in the whole film. Because Sid Haig's character clearly doesn't know that this is Dr. Loomis. Like, for some reason, he's just agreed to show the fucking graveyard to some random stranger. And he's like, fucking... he goes, "Yeah, the doctor involved wrote a book, Blood Money, if you ask me." And Dr. Loomis goes, "I read that book, fucking masterpiece."
Yeah. He's like, yeah, oh yeah, that book. Oh, it's fantastic. That guy is so smart. That dog. And did you see his picture on the back? Woof.
I would.
Yeah, I think he's pretty hunky. That Dr. Loomis. I've heard he's great in bed as well.
It's easily the best written line in the whole fucking film. I read that book. It's a fucking masterpiece.
So they go to look at Sherry Moon's zombie's grave for some fucking reason.
Yeah.
But the mum's headstone has been stolen. And somebody has crucified a fox.
Well, I thought it was a fox. Apparently it's a coyote. Not that it's important.
Not that we know what coyotes look like. Well, actually, it's a coyote. Well, actually, this film's a piece of shit. It doesn't matter. Could literally be any animal. Doesn't matter. Because it's totally fucking pointless.
This whole scene is wildly pointless. Doesn't make any sense. Doesn't progress the fucking plot in any way.
No.
It's not like fucking turns up and goes, I knew it. I knew there'd be a fox or coyote or something like crucified here.
Because of all the
Michael's
times he
back.
mentioned foxes and coyotes over the last 15 years, he didn't speak.
You know what this means. I'm not going to specify what it means because I don't do that. But you know what this means. No, I don't
You
understand.
random caretaker in the graveyard.
Oh, you and the shirt tuckers in the graveyard industry.
We then get a title card that comes up and it says trick or treat. Why?
Yeah.
This film is not broken up into chapters like title card. It's just, you know, you get the basic info, location, Haddonfield, 15 years later, and then it's at the midway point, it's like trick or treat. What? Why is that there? Then it's one of Laurie's friends.
Linda.
Linda.
Her name is.
Oh,
Linda,
is it Lindsay or Linda?
It's Linda. I looked it up.
Linda.
Linda with a Y.
Linda with a Y and her boyfriend, they pull up to the Myers house in a Scooby-Doo van.
Yes. To
it's-
solve the mystery.
Yeah.
of Michael Myers and where he is.
But also get drunk and have sex. It's their
Yeah.
party/bang spot.
Apparently so.
Yeah,
Like, the
they
one
bang
place
in this-
the whole of Haddonfield.
They've
that
got a
they go to.
van.
Yeah, I know, but they're going to go and bang in this shitty fucking abandoned house that's covered in
Yeah.
crap. And Michael's just chilling on the balcony like, what? Oh, this is my house. Just let yourself in.
They do, and they bang, and Michael watches them.
Yep.
Also, the guy has the exact same pair of glasses as the boyfriend from the original movie.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
Yep. And he goes to get a beer, just like the boyfriend in the original movie.
Yeah, well, apparently he's shit at banging because he's like done in seconds and she's
Yeah.
like mocking him for it. But yeah, he goes to get a beer.
And Don't Fear the Reaper plays, of course.
Also, yeah, he has to go to get the beer. He has to go all the way back out of the house to the van to get the beer.
Yeah.
They didn't think to bring any beer in with them.
No. And Linda, she phones up Laurie.
See, this is the point in the film where I was like, oh, 90s. As soon as she pulls out that little Nokia or whatever, mobile phone, I was like,
The early 2000s, I suppose.
yeah, something like that. So I was like, oh, I've got a time era for this now.
She calls up Laurie and she's like, Laurie, am I a slut?
Yeah.
She's like, no. Anyway, Michael kills the boyfriend. He pins him to the wall with the knife, just like in the original film.
Right, but it's done so badly. Like yeah. The original film is kind of an iconic scene, and where Michael does the whole head tilt thing, like while he's looking at him, like if you remember in the original film,
Yeah.
like stabs him and then like looks at him. Anyway, this film is shot entirely from the side. It also makes this knife look like it must be about that fucking long.
Yeah, well, the
So
original
you can
does a bit
fit-
as well. It's
But
definitely
then
a leap.
you see him do the head tilt thing, but from way back here, so it's like kind of pointless.
Yeah, but then he goes and kills the girlfriend and get exactly like the original.
Yeah.
Almost like beat for beat. She's like, oh, who, flashes her tits at him.
Yeah.
And then, thinks it's the boyfriend. But she can't tell, that her boyfriend appears to have grown a foot at least.
Yeah, because
He's like a foot.
he definitely wasn't Tyler Main size.
Yeah. Why? How dumb are you? Like, come on.
Turns up and she's like, hello?
Oh, it's you, my boy. I noticed you've grown a foot and you're now beefy.
And he strangles her.
Well, yeah, she kind of falls into his hand.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, no! Oh. Dr. Loomis, he then goes to buy a gun from Mickey Dolenz.
One of the monkeys.
Yeah. So he goes to buy a gun because this is America, goddammit.
Yeah.
And an aging Englishman can just walk into any shop and buy a gun right there and then.
From a former celebrity from the 60s.
Yep, and just walk out the door with it.
Mm.
Sweet. He
That's what life should be.
doesn't he? I can't remember what he He goes to buy a gun,
Yeah.
And Mickey Dolenz is like, oh yeah, if you really want to fuck shit up, what you want is this Magnum fucking whatever the hell it is.
Harry gun.
It's a gun.
Yeah.
It's a gun. Any gun will kill a person. Fucking rednecks. Yeah, why is it that there are certain people in Haddonfield, Illinois, that all talk like this, like they're from down south and love guns?
Because it's a Rob Zombie movie and it has to have rednecks. Doesn't matter where it is.
Yeah.
Make a film based here in Poole and there'll still be rednecks in it somehow.
Yeah. Laurie and her mum and dad, Dee Wallace, the mum, they have a chat and they hand out candy. It's a pretty boring scene anyway. Laurie goes off to babysit.
Yep.
And as she leaves, once she's left, sorry, the dad is killed. Michael shows up at the fucking house. He kills the dad and then he kills Dee Wallace.
Yeah, which I was sad about.
Yeah, this does suck. But as he's killing Dee Wallace, he's like got her there, but he stops and picks up a framed picture of the family. No, it's of Laurie. It's just Laurie.
Yeah.
And he looks at it and he's like, this is the right house. Laurie. No, there's no way he could know what she fucking looks like.
He's kept up to date.
He hasn't seen her since she was like 1 year old. There's no way he would know who adopted her. There's no way, if he did know who adopted her, he'd know where they lived. He doesn't have a Google machine.
In that 100 miles between, like, fucking the mental asylum and here, he did stop off at, like, I don't know.
A library.
Somewhere. The National Record Store. But, there's National Record Store. I don't know. Wherever I'm talking
Archive.
about. Archive. That's what I was after.
But there's no way he could know any of this information.
No, not at all.
As well as what she looks like. But he finds the picture, he's like, aha! And then he kills Dee Wallace. Laurie, like I said, she got to babysit. Laurie is babysitting Tommy Doyle, the brat.
Yeah, who's played by the kid from that thing with Drew Barrymore, where she's a zombie thing that eats flesh.
Santa Clarita Diet.
Santa Clarita Diet, yeah.
I like that show. Shame it got
Yeah,
cancelled.
he's very good in it as well.
Fuck you, Netflix. Michael is now in some other house watching some kid watching The Thing from Another World. This is
Lindsay. The kid is Lindsay, and she's the sister of Annie, who is Laurie's friend.
Right.
Who is
So you've got...
These are the daughters of the sheriff.
Right, yeah. So you've got Laurie babysitting Tommy Doyle. You've got Danielle Harris babysitting Queen Sheba.
Yeah.
As she is dressed as and calls herself, which is literally Queen Sheba is the best thing in this fucking film. Queen Sheba is watching The Thing from Another World whilst Michael watches her.
Yeah.
Dr. Loomis, he then goes to see Sheriff Brad Dourif, who doesn't believe him about the headstone.
Anything he says.
Nope. And he's like, evil is here!
Yeah.
It's like, all right, calm down. What the fuck are you on about? Danielle Harris and Queen Sheba, they go to see Laurie and Tommy Doyle.
Yeah.
Laurie needs a boyfriend, apparently. And Danielle Harris is trying to stitch her up with some guy. And she's like, you need a boyfriend. She's like, you're right. I do need a boyfriend. Yeah. What's he like? He says, well, when I told you about him, he said, and I quote, dude, she's fucking hot. And Laurie goes, oh, wow. Yeah. He sounds like a moron, Laurie.
Yeah, he sounds like a fucking absolute bellend. But you do you, Laurie.
Yeah.
Boo.
It turns out, though, Danielle Harris has kind of stitched her up because she's leaving Laurie to go have sex.
Yeah, she's basically
Queen
like,
Sheba with
I'm
her.
supposed to be looking after my own sister, but you can have her.
Yeah.
And I'm going to go and bang my boyfriend.
Yeah, you have the kids.
Yeah, not knowing that this is exactly the type of behaviour that really winds Michael Myers up. Apparently.
Yes, because Michael is outside.
Yes.
Yes. Meanwhile, Dr. Loomis is still trying to convince Sheriff Brad Dourif. And, okay, the line is... Malcolm McDowell says to him, you've got to stop thinking that we're dealing with a normal man. The way Malcolm McDowell delivers it is like this. You've got to stop thinking that we're dealing with a normal man.
He's talking to the audience.
And that's the first line of the scene. You've got to stop thinking that we're dealing with a normal...
It's a completely meta moment. Everyone suddenly realised halfway through the film that the audience is going to be going, what the fuck, man?
Yeah.
It's like, just stop thinking about it.
And then he's like, look at my book for proof. He's like, I've read it.
It's a fucking masterpiece.
Yeah. He's like, he's come back for his baby sister. Why? How? You don't? He could have killed her that night 15 years ago, but he didn't.
No.
And he hasn't said anything for 15
In fact,
years.
he was like sat with the baby the whole time. Like he saved the baby almost
So
from himself, I guess. Yeah, it doesn't make any sense. But
Brad
and
Dourif-
then the sheriff basically goes on to explain Laurie's backstory now, like of how she's ended up with the D. Wallace and all of that, like which is unnecessary. Like,
yeah,
that would
so
be unnecessary.
Brad Dourif tries to call Dee Wallace and the husband, but they're dead, of course. So it turns out Sheriff Brad Dourif was like first on the scene at Sherry Moon Zombie's suicide.
Yeah, and he just took the baby.
He took the baby and
Nobody said anything, even though there was fucking a live news reporter on the scene at the time.
No, that was the murders.
Well, that's where is that not where he?
No,
took the
no,
baby
he
from?
got it from her suicide.
Oh,
Yeah.
that makes more sense.
So, yeah, Sherry Moon Zombie commits suicide. Brad Dourif shows up. He sees the baby. He takes the baby, admits that there was ever a baby there from all of his reports, even though there's definitely reports on the Myers house because of the murders. They know there's a baby
Haddonfield
there.
seems like a small town. People
Yes.
knew this family.
So he drives off with the baby and literally dumps it at a fucking hospital and then leaves it there.
Yeah,
He then finds out that his mate, Mason, and his wife, Dee Wallace, have adopted the baby he dumped off. He's
from
like,
the hospital steps. They're
Yeah.
like, "Oh, look, it's a baby."
yeah. He's like, that baby I tried to get rid of.
I tried to give it a better life by dumping it somewhere
Yeah.
unattended.
And he is the only one that knows.
Yeah.
Like, literally the only person in town that
So
knows.
again, there's no reason why Michael should know any of this.
No. I don't even think Mason and Dee Wallace know.
Right.
I guess technically even the fucking people at the hospital don't know because it
Yeah.
was just left there.
Well, yeah, they don't even know who she is.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, that's fucking.
The
So how
only,
do they know?
literally, the only person that knows who Laurie is the sheriff.
So then, how does he even know that that's the baby that they adopted? They just rang him out. Oh, we've adopted a baby.
Well, I guess he doesn't technically.
Yeah. That doesn't make any sense.
Unless he looked
if
at
he
it-
just left it there.
Unless he looked at it and went, "That's the baby I dumped the other day."
Yeah. It's got the same expression.
Anyway, back at Tommy Doyle's, Tommy is obsessed with the boogeyman.
Yeah.
It goes on for ages. What's the boogeyman? Meanwhile, Danielle Harris she's getting hot and heavy with her boyfriend,
Yeah.
and there's
Paul.
some dirty talk. Fuck me,
You have to look me straight in the eye when you said that.
fuck me, Paul.
Yeah.
Tell me you want to fuck me, Paul. I want to fuck you, Danielle Harris. It's awful. Michael shows up. He stabs the boyfriend. Danielle Harris nearly gets away.
Yeah.
She's butt naked. Well, she's not. She's not butt
Right,
naked.
she tits out.
Her tits are- It's always weird when you see someone you've seen loads as a child actor
Yeah.
naked. It's like that scene at the end of Games of Thrones when fucking Maisie Wallace was tits out. You're like,
Oh, yeah.
oh.
Yeah, you were like 5 in episode 1.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Apparently, this is the only way she got the role.
Really?
Yeah, where she agreed to be naked running around.
Rob, do better. Okay, so she's getting fucked up, basically.
Yes.
She was getting fucked. Now she's getting fucked up.
Fucked up. Back at Tommy Doyle's house, Laurie is going to take Queen Sheba home, the other child. Laurie and Queen Sheba, they arrive at Queen Sheba's house, Danielle Harris, to find Danielle Harris fucked up on the floor, and her boyfriend is dead with a pumpkin on his head. He's
Paul
been
is
hung up.
basically he's a Halloween decoration.
Yeah,
now.
he's been
just
hung
hanging,
up. Yeah.
like in the middle of the corridor.
She sends Queen Sheba away on her own.
Yeah, this is like Laurie's like, run outside. There's clearly a maniac around, but run on your own, child, across the town.
To find
Get
help.
help. From the first person you meet, even if it's a guy in a mask.
Yeah, which there are many of tonight. So
She'll be fine. And this is that, and then the door slowly opens like upwards, and Michael's been hiding behind it all
Yeah.
the time because he's a bit of a kidder.
yeah,
He's such a jester.
and so Laurie goes to phone the police, but Michael is still in the house.
Yeah,
Why he hasn't killed Danielle Harris, I'm not sure though.
I don't know. Well, like, yeah, she'd be. Yeah, it's unnecessary. It's not like she's just rang her up and gone, Laurie, come to my house.
Yeah, it's not like
She's
it's
just-
bait or anything.
No.
Sheriff Brad, he intercepts the call,
Yeah.
and Malcolm McDowell hears. He's like, he's found her somehow.
Yeah.
Literally, this is really... I mean, the original doesn't make that much sense, but it's really obvious in this version.
Yeah, there's just a lot of people assuming things all the way through this film. Even Michael. I assume this is my sister.
Yeah. Lucky I could find my way home
Yeah.
from... Yeah, that makes no sense.
Because the only place he's seen is like
Let's say
is
wherever-
Haddonfield
yeah.
and the inside of this asylum. There's
he
no
knows-
way they drove him all the way and went, pay attention to
And
everywhere
remember
we're
it for
going."
15 years, because one day you're going to be heading back. On your own.
Walking.
Walking. Christ. Michael chases Laurie out of the house. She limps back to Tommy Doyle's house. She's been slashed or whatever.
Yeah.
A couple of cops arrive. So she gets back to Tommy's house. She gets Tommy and Queen Sheba, and she hides in the bathroom. The police arrive. They're killed.
Yeah.
One of them gets a shot off in Michael's shoulder.
Yep.
Aim for the head. Come on.
Learn nothing from Infinity War.
And Michael kidnaps Laurie, who at some point between him grabbing her and him walking her out of the door, she passes out.
Yeah.
He loses consciousness.
Just faints.
And he just walks.
Gets the vapors.
He walks down the street with her, just holding her.
Like yeah.
Batman holds Joker's corpse. It's like, nobody sees this?
No,
Like,
just, yeah.
it's-
Haddonfield's one of those places, there's loads of commotion and shit going on. It's the one place in the world where everybody stays the fucking doors and doesn't pay any attention.
I mean, this is a 6'7" man walking down the street on Halloween night.
yeah. Wearing a mask and
When
a
there's
boiler
people
suit.
about just carrying a passed out person.
Yeah.
The police are involved, but no one sees it. Whatever. Then Dr. Loomis and Sheriff Brad Dourif, they arrive at Danielle Harris's. She's still alive.
Yep.
Tommy Doyle and Queen Sheba, they arrive. And they inform Dr. Loomis that Michael has taken Laurie. And he's like, stand by that ambulance. And he leaves the children. These poor kids. No one gives a fuck about Tommy Doyle or Queen Sheba. They really get it bad. They probably grow up to be fucking killers.
Yeah, more than likely. Look, we survived. We survived all that on our own, pretty
Yeah.
much. I mean, just all of the adults were useless.
Back at the old Myers place, Laurie wakes up, this is in the basement, to find her dead friend, Linda, in front of Sherry Moon's tombstone.
Yeah,
For some
which looks
reason.
like it's made out of polystyrene.
Yeah, it looks so shit. Michael walks in. He drops his knife.
Yeah, and Laurie does this weird. Huh?
Yeah. He then shows her the picture that he was given as a child.
Look at this photograph.
Of him as a child holding her as a baby.
Yeah.
She has no idea what the fuck any of this means.
No, she's
Because
not
she
going to
wouldn't.
remember that.
No. Just like, I'm surprised he does.
And I'm pretty sure they probably kept her. There's no way her adopted parents went, by the way, this is what happened to you when you was a baby.
Yeah.
They're not going to say that. So she probably never knew.
No. And there is a chance, could be the wrong person. Entirely.
Because Mike doesn't know.
No. Maybe that's why she's like, what's this? I don't know who you
If
are.
he taught, that whole sentence would have been, that whole scene would have been, is this you? She'd gone,
No.
oh, I don't think so. And he'd go, damn.
He then takes off his mask and then he just sits there.
Yep.
So she stabs him.
Yeah.
That's literally the scene. He's just sat there doing nothing. She's like, okay, I'm going to grab this knife. If you're not doing it. Okay, have that, you cunt.
Pretty much.
And she escapes, kind of.
Well, she runs out the back garden.
Oh, but she can't escape. That's it. She can't get out. He gets up, he pulls the knife out of himself, and he smashes through a fucking wall, and then she does escape.
Yeah, that's it. And then they've got... But this is the old Myers house. They're poor as shit, right?
Oh yeah, this cracks
But
me
they've
up.
got a fucking massive pool in the back
Yeah,
garden.
she falls into an old abandoned empty swimming pool, and you're like, the Myers had a pool?
Exactly.
What the hell?
Yeah. They weren't that fucking poor.
And then Dr. Loomis arrives, and he's like, Michael, it's me, Samuel.
Yeah.
You know, that guy that abandoned you like everyone does? Dr. Loomis shoots him a bunch of times. And then Dr. Loomis, once he's done, Michael's on the ground, he's been shot, he's done.
Yep.
Dr. Loomis, he takes Laurie and he puts her in a police car, which I guess he's stolen.
I guess so. Yeah, he must. Yeah, he must have taken that from
Yeah, the sheriff.
the sheriff. Yeah. So
Yeah. Yeah, well, I mean, I guess the sheriff's still at Danielle Harris's house.
yeah, still there.
But where's all the other police?
I don't know, with
They're-
the sheriff, I guess.
They're all...
Yeah, because Loomis has just gone to the kids, like, fucking stay there. I'm going to go off and do this on my own, even though I know exactly
Also,
where
I'm
Michael
borrowing
Myers
your
is, apparently.
car.
Yeah. Also, yeah, I'm, once again, not going to tell you where Michael's going. I'm just going to go by myself.
So
yeah,
they're
gets
in the,
Laurie
car. Yeah, and then Michael smashes through the window because he ain't
Because,
dead.
of course.
And he kidnaps her again.
Yeah.
And then Loomis admits he's a shit psychiatrist.
Yeah, basically.
They have this interaction. And then Michael kind of gouges Dr. Loomis's eyes.
Yeah. Jams his thumbs in his eyes.
There's blood. While he's doing that, Laurie escapes upstairs. That sentence doesn't make sense. She escapes upstairs.
Upstairs,
But-
further into the house.
Yep. And she hides in a wardrobe, kind of like in the original.
Yeah.
Michael then drags
They
Loomis's...
still managed to make... That's one of the best scenes in the original, with the Jamie Lee Curtis in that fucking
Yeah.
wardrobe and stuff. And they still managed to make a variation of that
Shit.
is so shit.
Yes. That's this entire film.
Yeah.
It's a shitter version of the fucking original.
Yeah. She runs into the wall space.
Yes. She eventually ends up in the attic at some point.
Yes.
But Michael drags Loomis's body into the house, whose eyes are fine now.
yeah, there's just... He's got a little bit of mascara or something.
It looked
coming
like
out.
he had nothing. It looked like a little bit of blood down the side of his head.
Yeah.
But his eyes are intact. So Michael is now looking for Laurie in the house. She finds Loomis's gun, who's now dead with his eyes open and intact. He's on the floor. His eyes were shut and intact.
Yep.
Now they're open and intact after the eye gouging, but he's dead on the floor. Then Loomis decides he isn't dead. And he starts trying to wrestle Michael to the ground by holding onto his leg like a toddler, which doesn't work.
Amazingly.
Yes. Then Michael starts smashing up the whole fucking
Yeah.
house. Like one of those fucking renovation shows.
Yeah.
They're just like, we're going to take this wall down. We're going to have open
poor
plan
family,
living.
Yeah, We're gonna- yeah, this whole veranda is going to be lovely. We're going
Yep.
to build a pool. Oh, they got a pool. How? I thought there was a pool.
Doesn't matter. We're going to flip it. Oh, dear. And
So yeah, he's smashing through
Michael,
the thing.
sorry, yeah. Then Laurie then falls from through the fucking ceiling because she
Yep.
was in the attic somehow. She got up there at some point. Michael tackles Laurie out of the fucking window,
Straight through the window.
off the fucking veranda, and then they're both lying on. It cuts to black. Then they're both lying on the ground, covered in blood. Now this is how my version ended, but I've got a feeling yours might have ended differently.
Right.
My version ends. Laurie goes to shoot Michael.
Oh no, this still happens.
Ah, right. She goes to shoot him in the head.
It's like the gun's empty.
Yeah, it's out of bullets until it isn't.
Yeah, there's one bullet left.
Yeah. And then she shoots him, and then she screams a lot,
Yeah.
and then it ends.
Then it ends.
That's it to black. Credits done.
That's the end.
Yeah. Bag of shite.
Oh, I hate this version. I hate it so much. It was such a fucking chore to watch. Yeah, like even when-
This is, I think, the only one since we've been fucking doing this.
Yeah.
I've had to watch in 2 parts
Oh,
because I only
There's
got
been
an
a
hour in.
few, but I did this in 2 parts as well. But the problem as well is like I watched it almost 2 weeks ago now.
Yeah.
And I thought to myself, like, should I, like, before we recorded this, it's like, should I just give it a quick watch? And it's like, no, I don't want to. Like, so even though I had trouble remembering a couple of bits as we was talking about it, I was like, don't care, still worth not watching it again. But
Yeah, this was hard, honestly.
it's
This is why I
just-
started watching it last night when I was like fucking half asleep.
I don't know what Rob Zombie's deal is. Like, why does the most sympathetic character in your entire film have to be the guy that's killing everyone? And what you have to you have to give him an excuse to kill all these other people. Every single character in this film is horrendous,
Yeah.
like awful.
Mm-hmm. Well, this is what he does. Someone described Rob Zombie once as a Manson apologist,
Yeah,
and he is.
Mm.
He's. I still maintain The Devil's Rejects is a disgusting film. It's not good.
no,
It's got everything completely backwards and fucking wrong. He can't write characters.
he definitely can't write people. He has no idea.
He can't direct actors.
No,
But he was given shitloads of money to make this, and the only thing it adds, I mean, from about what 50 minutes onwards, it's just a shit carbon copy of the original.
Yeah.
The only thing it adds is this backstory, which is awful.
Which is unnecessary.
Nobody needed that.
Like in the original, like they're quite a normal family, aren't they? To a degree, like
Well, you don't even really know
Judith
anything.
is a bit sort of stuck up, like up her own arse. But yeah, yeah. All it starts is literally he puts the mask on, and then it follows him through.
It's
and
like
then stabs
it's
his
5
sister.
minutes.
Yeah, and you don't. That's all you need to know that this kid is fucked up. And there's that
Yeah.
brilliant. Yeah, because the reason I think that the normal
And you don't
family,
know it's a kid.
the parents turn up, don't they? And they
Yeah.
take his mask off, and he's just stood there with the knife. It's brilliant.
Yeah.
It's genius. Yeah, and yeah, the reveal that it's a child in the first 5 minutes is what hooks you into that fucking film straight
Yeah.
away. This takes that, ruins it,
Throws it into a fucking
drags it out, like kicks the
dumpster.
fuck out of it, jumps all over it, pisses on it. Like it's just, yeah, it doesn't. I don't care about, and like at no point ever am I going to go, oh, I really feel for Michael because of his upbringing. I don't
Yeah.
give a fuck.
It's not. Yeah, that's what makes him scarier. Is like some of the scariest characters, like Leatherface, and there's no rhyme or reason. They just kill.
Yeah,
They don't
Even
have to have like.
Jason from the Friday the 13th fucking movies. Like as soon as Jason becomes the main fucking protagonist of those films,
Yeah.
like the point of him is he's just an unstoppable fucking murder machine. Whereas when they did those fucking remakes and again tried to give him a sympathetic fucking background, don't give a fuck.
No, you don't have to have a background. It's
No.
scary because there is no fucking reason for it.
Yeah,
But yeah, Rob Zombie, who's just fucking loves serial killers and shit like that.
yeah,
So he goes through abusive childhood, kills animals. These are like three of
yeah. The main like
things
things that every
lead to-
serial killer fucking does.
like real life serial killers.
Yeah.
So he's just gone through that, added a white trash bag. It's like we don't fucking need this. Added a character his wife can play. Like,
Yeah.
Come on.
Which, as I said, I think is the entire reason that backstory exists. Is like he couldn't find her a fucking place within the original characters, so he had to invent one.
Quite possibly. Yeah. I mean, there are people that like this.
I know there are, and they are wrong. Very, very. Like, I'm all for everybody having their own opinion, but yours should be taken away. It's a garbage opinion.
The thing is, though,
Stop it.
after watching Halloween Ends, I'm like, maybe this ain't that bad.
I mean, I still think Halloween Ends is still better than this.
This is more boring
Yeah, this is
because
horrendously
it's just the
boring.
same film again, but with
Yeah.
a terrible first half.
And also, like, yeah, within the first 5 minutes of the film, that whole scene in the kitchen, I was like, all of it, it's like somebody had just jabbed me in the ears with a pencil. Like, I was like, I want all of these people to just stop existing.
Oh, let's have a look at some trivia then of this piece of shit film. Budget $15 million.
Where did that money go?
Where did it go? I forgot to say where it came from. It came from the Weinsteins.
Of course it did.
It grossed $80 million.
80.
Yeah, it's made money. Tyler Mane is the tallest actor to portray Michael Myers at 6'8".
Jesus, he is a unit.
He is a big boy. Emma Stone auditioned for the role of Laurie Strode.
Fucking hell. I mean, nothing against Scout. Is it Scout Taylor?
Yeah, whatever her name is,
Whoever, yeah, who plays Laurie in this. But she hasn't done much that I remember since.
No, this is Halloween 2,
Yeah.
which is we'll do that next year.
Yeah.
Even worse.
I'm not. I definitely don't want to watch it anytime soon.
What else? I mean, there's not a lot of fucking interesting trivia about this, really. Danielle Harris was 29 years old, playing the high
Playing
schooler.
like a 17-year-old.
Yep. At one point, Dimension Studios considered making a crossover film featuring Pinhead from the Hellraiser series, which was also owned by Miramax, who
Yeah.
Dimension is a sub-property of. Following in the footsteps of New Line Cinema's Freddy vs. Jason.
I was going to do a Michael versus Pinhead.
Yep, a poll was held on an official website, but the response from the fans was negative, so they dropped it. Even the fans were like, nah, I don't want that.
See, this is what I mean about the whole Pinhead thing. They'll just try and put him into anything to
Yeah.
try and keep hold of the rights. Why Michael Myers? That makes no sense.
Simply because they held the rights to both. That's
Yeah.
it. And like Freddy,
Freddy versus Jason
kind
you
of makes
can-
sense.
Yeah,
Whereas Pinhead and Michael, they exist in two totally different worlds.
yeah, entirely.
Yeah.
Fucking, how do you fit all the BDSM fucking weird like
Fuck
sex
knows.
demon stuff of Hellraiser into Michael Myers? Fuck, I tell you what you should do. Have them Pinhead and Jason team up because Jason hates sex. Like, he hates anybody having sex and will kill them for it.
Yeah.
So, yeah, like, then you've got... So, yeah, Pinhead turns up and he's like, everyone should bang while I tear them apart. And Jason's like, no, I like the tearing apart bit, but no banging. So that's a film I want to see.
Oh, Christ. Rob Zombie cast his wife Sherry Moon Zombie because he wanted
That should just be the end of that sentence.
because he wanted a tall actress to play Michael's mother, which would explain why he grew so tall. All right, Rob, whatever.
Yeah. Rob Zombie wanted to cast Sherry Moon Zombie in all of his films because, you know, he's banging her.
Yeah.
There you go. Fixed it.
Although this film is a remake that he directed, Rob Zombie has claimed he doesn't like horror remakes. Neither do we.
No,
Especially
don't like
this
yours.
one. Yeah. At one point, guess who was directed to... Rumoured to do... Sorry. Who was attached to direct this?
Is it somebody unexpected?
Unexpected, but a big name
Raimi.
director. Nope.
I don't know. Go on.
Oliver Stone.
Fuck off.
Yeah.
How's that? Actually attached or just rumoured to be attached?
Rumoured.
I'd watch an Oliver Stone version of it.
I'd watch over this piece of shit.
It would be like heavy on conspiracy.
Yeah. Probably make less sense, actually.
Yeah.
At the end, when they go over the balcony
Hmm.
and it cuts and then they're on the floor, the reason it cuts is because the stunt woman was seriously injured in the fall. So they couldn't show the landing.
Shit.
So they just cut it. And
Surprises me that Rob Zombie did not keep that in there.
Yeah. Right. That's some trivia. Comments.
I'll do mine first then because I've only got like 3. From Instagram, I got from Wreckhead Chronicles, which is Luke. No thanks, that Monsters trailer was enough. I'm not sure whether Luke thinks this is a new film. Here's Johnny79, who also does movie reviews. He said, one of the worst movies I've ever covered, truly terrible. The opening is nothing short than ear bleeding and the bile they spew is unreal.
The thing is, though, it's not just an opening. It's 45 minutes of the
45
fucking
minutes of the
film.
Yeah. And then Dan Jenkins, kind of tempted to rewatch it myself someday. Think I saw a 4-hour documentary on the making of it. They had such high hopes.
Yeah, MTV had like a whole thing about it, like behind the scenes making of, like in the build up to its release. From
Does your phone not recognise your face anymore?
no, I can't think why. From Instagram, Deviant the Godless just put good.
Nope, wrong.
Nope. Sister Street Fighter put the cinematic equivalent of that horrible grunge light era of bands like Puddle of Mud. That's really accurate.
Accurate as fuck, gotta be honest.
Miss Dead Pony, it's not as bad as the second one. Yeah, that is true.
That's true.
Yeah. The Spook House podcast just put 3 shit emojis.
Yep. I'll allow that.
My Little Slice of Hell Network, hot trash. I for one don't want hot trash. I for one don't want an origin. I like that he was born evil. Stripper mom, come on.
Yep. Right.
Cry Nizzle, I think I'm saying that right. I'm never good with usernames because they're not real names. Starts with the thumb down emoji. I like that Michael Myers is a mystery. I didn't need to know that his mum was a stripper.
Like, that's the worst part of it. Yeah, no, again, right.
Dead Good Tease. I'd rather shit in my hands and clap.
Yes, correct.
Then over to TikTok.
We've got 4 hours of comments.
4 hours. Here's one from Jess. I remember liking it a decent amount when it came out in 2007, but I haven't wanted to pay to rent it even once since then. Yeah.
Okay.
Geordie Pooh. Personally, adds a bunch of unnecessary context that ruins the mystery of Myers and misses the point of Dr. Loomis.
Correct.
Yes. Lorelei Vega. That's a great name.
It's like one of the Vega brothers from
Possibly.
the Quentin Tarantino universe.
Yeah. Honestly, if it was a choice of watching anything by Rob Zombie and scouring my tits off, I'd want some wire wool.
Like your style.
She goes on. He is so overrated. He's a shit director and filmmaker. I'd rather watch a M. Night Shyamalan shit film, and that's saying something. He's another prick. She goes on. Also, I'm drunk. So any abuse I get right now is my own fault. Call the cops. They'll ask if I'm pissed. Get them to buy me chips. I'm starving.
I love that you typed this out. It reads like a verbal rant. Brilliant.
Oh, wow. And finally, somebody, Ricky88,
Right.
I think that's their username, has written a full fucking essay on why they like it.
And why they like it. I
Yep.
don't think we need to hear that because it's wrong.
I think Rob
Maybe
Zombie's
some excerpts.
I think Rob Zombie's Halloween was a neat approach to the franchise.
Nope.
The Halloween series is so fucking dry and monotonous. Don't get me wrong, I love the Halloween series, but I'm unaware at this point if that's because of the nostalgia or because they were truly great films.
Nostalgia.
It's the
Apart
same.
from the first.
It's the same looming. Can I finish?
No, I'm going to commentate on it.
It's the same looming presence with the same style of murders and the same cast recycled through different people. I personally appreciate how there were more than 2 minutes of character development.
No, there wasn't.
No, they're not. It's not. Something that hasn't been nearly as detailed in any other film in the franchise. I think the boy they cast as young Michael Myers did an incredible job.
Nope.
The score throughout the film was melodic. Nope.
Nope.
Tone and saying and beautiful. Nope.
Nope.
I think the people who gave this movie a poor review or went into it with low expectations are people who revere themselves as horror fanatics, but they are overly critical of new horror because it will, in their minds, compare to 80s horror in its heyday. I think nostalgia paired with unrealistic dated expectations cloud people's minds when it comes to adding new chapter to such iconic horror series.
No.
No. But somebody, I'm trying to think, I was listening to a podcast and somebody was reviewing that fucking, what was that James Wan film? That ridiculous thing that came out last
Oh, with the
year.
thing in the back of her head?
Yeah.
Oh, Malignant.
Malignant. We were talking about Malignant, and one guy on the show liked it, one guy fucking hated it. And the guy that liked it basically accused the guy that hated it of a similar thing, saying like whenever something new comes out, if it's you like old things that are like cheap and shitty, but if something new comes out and it's cheap and shit, it's like shitty and over the top and silly, like Malignant is, you boo-hoo it. And they said, well, what's the difference between that? It's just nostalgia. It's not nostalgia, I don't think.
No.
I mean, nostalgia plays a part, but for me, the original Halloween made on no fucking money.
Yep.
Original Friday the 13th, even Nightmare on Elm Street had a bit more of a budget than those, but it was still made for not a lot of money.
Yep.
And practical effects were not amazing. You had people with not a lot of money and sometimes didn't really know what they were doing.
Yep.
Doing their fucking best. And there are plenty of things you can point out about the original Halloween and all those 80s horrors that are flawed, but it was people with not a lot of resources doing their best.
Yeah.
Because they fucking loved what they did. These films were made with like love, I would say. Whereas now you have people like James Wan and fucking Rob Zombie who have seen them, and even though they've got millions of dollars behind them and big studios, try and imitate them and it doesn't fucking work.
Yeah.
Malignant is a stupid fucking movie.
It's a mess of a movie. It
And
doesn't know what it is.
It tries to like play off of the 70s like Italian horrors.
Yeah.
Those films,
The Giallo sort of.
yeah,
Yeah.
those films are that way because they didn't have any fucking money.
Yeah.
If John Carpenter had $15 million, or the equivalent of in 1978,
Yeah.
that film would look way different.
The whole third act of that Malignant is silly as fuck and just rips you. Any hope of that film had a bit. Although the second act makes it seem like some sort of weird dark superhero, dark man sort of fucking thing, and then the third act is just so fucking stupid.
The opening scene is laughable.
Yep, all of it.
I genuinely thought the opening scene in Malignant was like a Garth Marenghi's, like a spoof.
Yeah,
Or someone was going to yell, cut!
yeah.
Because the acting was that bad.
I think there's just after that bit, there's a bit in the house, the first 10 minutes, I think, or so, where I was like, "Ooh, this could be it's a complete tonal shift. This might be interesting," and then it just ruins itself. But yeah, no, yeah, this version of Halloween brought nothing. In fact, did its very best to trample all over what had already come before it.
Yes, and in fact, a lot of the Halloween films are shit.
Oh yeah, massively.
There's
so.
more shit ones than good ones.
Yeah.
But these are definitely some of the shittiest ones. Right, that was Rob Zombie's Halloween. We'll do Halloween 2 next year. Fuck it.
I've got a year, thank God.
Well, thanks for listening if you're still here. Thanks for watching if you're still watching. Don't forget to subscribe, all that stuff.
Share, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, you can find us on we have a Facebook, but no one uses fucking Facebook.
Not anymore, apparently.
I don't care what people I know think. And
Facebook's only good for asking people where to get a decent sandwich or something nowadays. Like,
yeah, boomers have ruined Facebook. The same way they ruined Twitter.
Anywhere good to take the kids?
Yeah.
Google is your friend.
Yeah. Find us on Instagram at Movies to Drink To if you want your comments read out on the film. We always post what movie we're going to do before we record, and you can add your comments and your thoughts until one day we'll start a Patreon and you have to fucking pay for the privilege. So do it now. And you can find us both on Instagram and all that stuff as well.
Yeah.
Cool. Thank you for listening and good night. Happy Halloween.
Well, thank you all for coming here tonight and drinking all of my booze. No, really. Please leave. The party's over. Get out.